Misato. Very stream friendly, almost a little too stream friendly. But yeah, I've been wanting to try this one out. And it's not, I really wish I had like an Asahi and Orion or something like that. But I have this Elgin beer that I used to cook with. Thank you. You like it? Wait, doesn't she have like a hat or something? She does have a hat sometimes, not all the time. Does Misato beat minor allegation? It's just a secret we overlook. I think it'd be cute to do an IRL in this and like go to the Asian store and like buy some beer and everything like that, and then do like a whole after work thing. Yo, look at how short this skirt is. Like if I wasn't wearing stuff underneath, you would be seeing more. That's crazy. Outfit is crazy. Yes. I just love this song. I saw Teriyaki Boys live and they played this song like 6 times. But I would not be mad. I also unironically love Fast and Furious. You like the jacket? Thanks, it's in a cosplay. I actually, honestly, now that you mention it, I would unironically wear this. This might just go into the actual closet. This dress, however, like the Your dress, it just doesn't stay down. Cropped jackets go so hard. Is it a little too MJ though? I feel like just from the front, it's giving a little too much like Michael Jackson.
Breaking news! You get no bitches!
This is so confusing. Not just the music, but like Misato eating pancakes. Throw it back, Pikachu.
Breaking news! My balls are currently stuck in your refrigerator door. Please help me remove them.
SpongeBob.
Is there SpongeBob corn out there? Don't answer that.
I'm about to come.
These AIs are crazy. Wait, let me part my bangs.
The fun thing about Evangelion is that it's been so popular for so long that pretty much anything you can imagine, yeah, there's an Evangelion version of it somewhere in the world. There is a lost Evangelion AIDS PSA for the city of Houston, Texas.
Bro, what did I stumble upon?
The 3 main characters are Shinji Ikari, Asuka Langley, and Rei Ayanami, whose original English voices were by Spike Spencer, Tiffany Grant, and Amanda Winley, respectively, and personally, my favorite thing about this dub is Shinji's rant, which is a recording of Spike Spencer's incredibly, painfully relatable reaction to the ending of the TV series. Here, let me show you a little bit of it.
Is this how you end the series? I mean, is this where we go from here? Okay, the movie better sure as hell make up for this. I'm telling you right now, because I'm stuck in nowhere land. You ran out of ink too, didn't you, you bastards?
The episode 2 commentary, specifically, comes from Spike Spencer and Matt Greenfield, one of the founders of ADV and Evangelion's producer and ADR director. And a little over halfway through the commentary, they start talking about some of the other work that Spencer had done with Tiffany Grant.
I know you and Tiffany have actually ended up doing several radio spots together, oddly enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shinji and Asuka having sex, basically.
Basically, that's what it was, man.
You know.
It was an interesting spot, and of course, they did not like it, so they pulled it, but it's not going on my demo reel.
One of these days, it'll surface on the internet.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure
they always do.
And thus, the legend of the lost Evangelion AIDS PSA was born, and for years, Evangelion fans searched desperately for this. God, what I can only imagine was the holy grail for Shinji and Asuka shippers, but also just an interesting piece of lost media in general. But alas, their efforts would prove to be in vain, because the only recording of this PSA that survived was on a tape owned by Tiffany Grant herself, and it was a tape that simply hadn't been digitized. So, that being said, story time. The PSA was recorded in 1999, so yeah, well after Eva was dubbed. Spike was reached out to for an AIDS PSA for the city of Houston, and they needed a voice actress for the project too, since the idea was that you would hear the sound of 2 teens getting it on while a a voice warned the listener about how one of them was killing the other. And so Spike reached out to Tiffany, who, of
a hell of
course,
a pitch.
accepted the task. The two recorded their sounds in different booths, though Spike's was directly behind hers. But Spike and Tiffany's talent, alas, turned out to be a double-edged sword because they sounded so real that, well, exactly that. Sounded entirely too real for the radio, and so the PSA got canned. God, imagine being Spike Spencer and Tiffany Grant in that moment, being told, hey, your sex noises were too real for the radio. What a day that must have been. So, because the PSA got canned, the only tape with the PSA recorded on it fell into Tiffany's possession, where even she would eventually lose track of it. And so, for years, it sat somewhere in her house, in a box, just collecting dust, or at the very least, until recently, when she moved and found a box full of cassettes and CDs with a lot of her old radio spots, including, but obviously not limited to, the Lost Evangelion AIDS PSA. In other words, get ready, because the Lost Evangelion AIDS PSA is no longer lost.
We listen and we don't judge.
One of these young people is killing the other. Can you tell which? Neither can we. And neither can they. Because one of these people is HIV positive and doesn't even know it. You know the rest. Sooner or later, both he and she will have AIDS. What you think is the beginning of something beautiful could actually be the beginning of the end. So if you're sexually active, always use a latex condom. Always. And if you've had unprotected sex, get tested.
Holy shit. How did they want the sex to sound? Like, they really did not see that coming? That's wild.
I know it's not meant to be a funny PSA, but I really can't help but think that it adds another layer of meaning to that "to die for" line at the end, you know?
That was fantastic.
That was to die for.
And I mention at one point of the video that what makes Evangelion and merchandising so interesting is that Evangelion has been so popular for so long that pretty much any product you can think of, yeah, there's an official Evangelion version of it somewhere. I want to show you just how disturbingly much official Evangelion merchandise is out there. And how am I gonna do that? Well, meet Shinji. He's just an average guy, except that he owns every single piece of official Evangelion merchandise ever made, and he lives in a world that's just like ours. We're gonna follow Shinji on an average day of his life, and we're just gonna see how livable his life is with nothing but Evangelion merchandise. Shinji wakes up in his Evangelion apartment to the sound of his Evangelion alarm clock, so he gets out from under his Evangelion blankets, puts on his Evangelion slippers, and heads on over to the bathroom. Here, he can wash his hair, brush his teeth, and of course shave with his chic Eva razor. Shinji here wants to get some exercise in before a long day of work, so he puts on a new pair of Evangelion underwear, slips into a comfortable Evangelion t-shirt, yeah, that's a real and official shirt by the way, sweatpants, socks, and Evangelion New Balance.
Hold up. You won't die because I'll protect you. Even if I die, I can be replaced. I'm not a puppet. First Children Eva 00 prototype. Bro. That is a very cool shirt. I wish you still had it. I forgot. I went to the Evangelion pop-up in Shibuya Parko and I got this for stream. So eventually we're gonna make this crazy puzzle.
Maybe he can take a quick jog. Maybe he can grab his Eva Vemoof bike and Eva helmet and go on a quick bike ride. Or maybe he can grab some of his Eva Army dumbbells and do some weightlifting. Well, he eventually picks one of them, and now he's feeling ready for some breakfast. He grabs some Eva coffee and then grabs some of his Eva canned bread and... oh, hold on. Quick pause. The canned bread. Y'all probably won't believe me if I don't explain this one. Yeah, so believe it or not, canned bread still exists in Japan. From what I've come to understand, it's not necessarily a totally common thing, but it's also not so rare that it's unheard of for popular anime to get. There's Clannad canned bread, Full Metal Alchemist, Macross, and, you know,
Clannad one is funny.
Evangelion. Starting with the office job, well, today is Casual Friday, so an Evangelion polo shirt, Evangelion sweater vest, you know, maybe an Evangelion tie, a nice nice pair of Evangelion jeans, his Radio Eva, Toy Eva shoes, and maybe his Evangelion Sony watch, you know, just to give him a little bit of pizzazz. Oh, and of course, he can't forget his trusty Eva briefcase to keep his Eva office supplies, his Eva cell phone, Eva calculator, Eva USB, Eva energy drink, and Eva business card holder in. And with that, he's ready for anything. But regardless of which job he has, he's gonna have to find a way to get to work. So what's Shinji's commute looking like if he can't walk? Well, he's got two options. For starters, he can hop on the Evangelion bullet train.
Cool, that looks so cool. Stop, that's actually really cool.
Or he can hop in his Evangelion electric car. Of course, he'll have to make a quick stop at one of these Evangelion electric car charger stations on the way,
That's
though.
cool.
Oh, and by the way, in case you were wondering, yeah, his car is absolutely decked out in Evangelion merchandise, too. He's got an Eva license plate, seat cover, car curtain, car mat, car garbage can, GPS, radio
Prius or
antenna,
the
you name
Yaris?
it, he's got it. Shinji is done with work for the day, and what a day to be done with work on, cause it's Friday. And for Shinji, Friday is date night, and he's got a hot date planned with his SO, who we'll call, let's go ahead and call him Kaoru, why not? But tonight's not any ordinary date night, no, tonight is the night that Shinji finally proposes to Kaoru. You know, he's got his Evangelion rings at the ready. So very at the ready. And he's got an extra special date planned for tonight. So
Why is
he
he
needs to
moving
hurry
like
up and get
that?
ready. Look at him. He's wearing the Shinji outfit from the line of clothes that was released for the 4th anniversary of the Eva store. A little bit of Eva cologne, and he's good to go. So Kaoru arrives, dressed to impress, of course. You know, he is wearing nothing but official Evangelion clothes from head to toe. And first things first,
Those
it's
shoes
time
look
to get
cool.
some dinner. After all, a new pop-up Evangelion bar/cafe just opened up. And of course, if they do decide to go there, Shinji will cover the whole meal with his Evangelion Visa card that he keeps in his Evangelion wallet. And this is a big night for Shinji. You know, if there's ever a time to bring your A game to the dating game, it's when you're ready to go to the next level. So then, what is Shinji's strategy? How is this gentleman going to woo the target of his affection? And that is bowling. Evangelion bowling. Officially
Stop, that's so
licensed
cute.
Evangelion bowling. That is
Round
Shinji's
one?
strategy. In 2013, a bowling alley in Japan called Round 1 hosted an official campaign featuring Evangelion. So then, what does a Round 1 Evangelion campaign look like? Better yet, I will show you what a Round 1 Evangelion campaign looks like. Bam! These are what it looks like. Now you may be sitting there scoffing, thinking, bowling pins. Okay, that's funny, that's peculiar, but listen to me. I'm about to open your eyes because these are so much more than bowling pins. These are actually giant bowling pin mascot outfit things. You know, you're supposed to wear these.
Oh,
what
I
I'm
see it
saying
now.
is, one would go to round
Oh
one
my
during this
God.
campaign, and one would wear these. These are, in fact, not official Evangelion bowling pins, because they are official Evangelion bowling pin shaped attire. If dressing up as an Evangelion bowling pin with your SO isn't romantic, I don't know what is. How could Kaoru say no to his bowling pin clad prince on one knee, ring in hand? He says yes, and the night ends pleasantly for them both. Happily ever after and all that. And thus concludes our little peek into the window of Shinji's life. So then, is it possible to live off of Evangelion merchandise? It sounds to me like, yeah, it kinda is. Especially considering that once the 4th Eva movie is out, y'all just know we're gonna be getting bombarded with even more Eva merch than before. And on that note, God, I don't know, Ray's best girl.
The worst con that never happened. Might have to watch that. But I'm gonna see if anyone mentions the condom. Yep, condoms. There it is. I looked very hard for the official Eva condoms, but to my vast disappointment, couldn't find any. I think it's like the one product Eva hasn't expanded its vast merchandising empire into. If you can find them though, remember they gotta be officially licensed. By all means, link. That was 5 years ago. So unless they released it within the past 5 years, maybe it wasn't official.